In this episode of Nightmare Echoes, Eleazar and Margo cover the 2005 supernatural film Constantine. Spoiler warnings for iRobot, Suspiria, and Point Break. A couple of notes during this one, I struggle to pronounce a character's name, Manon or Manon. It kind of sounds like I'm saying my mom. And later in the episode, I keep saying Bowtie when I mean to say hairbow, in case that wasn't clear. Upcoming movies on the podcast are The Devil's Backbone, Shaun of the Dead, The Evil Dead, and Insidious Chapter 2. So please subscribe to not miss any of those. And if you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review. It really helps the podcast grow, and I'd really love that. Enjoy the episode. Hello, and welcome back to Nightmare Echoes. I'm your host, Eleazar. I'm joined again by co-host Margo. Margo, how's it going?
It's going good. Hello.
All right, so we are covering the 2005 Keanu Reeves movie, Constantine. According to Google, it is fantasy horror. According to Wikipedia, it's superhero horror.
Okay.
But they both agree on the horror part.
I mean, it's based on a comic book. I wouldn't say Constantine's a superhero, would you?
No, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he would be. Yeah, I mean, he uses fantastical things.
Yeah,
to get the job done. But no way would I call him a superhero. It's directed by Francis Lawrence, who also did some of the Hunger Games movies, I Am a Legend, and the Black Eyed Peas "Pump It Up" music video.
Okay, well, there
have
you
you
go.
seen that video?
I'm sure I have.
Like Fight Club meets Fast and Furious. Like they're racing cars to go and fight in these secret underground places, which I think is funny. Anyway, all right. So besides Keanu Reeves, it also stars Rachel Weisz as Angela. She also plays her twin sister in the movie Isabel. We have Jaman Hussain.
Okay, so it's Jaimin Hansu.
Thank you. As Midnight, and of course Shia LaBeouf as Chase. I love Shia LaBeouf.
He has like a very small role in this, which is funny, but I don't know if this was before he was like pretty famous or not.
So he was. I mean, he obviously had the Disney kids movie stuff.
Yeah.
But he had just done iRobot.
Okay.
Which is what got him this role.
Okay.
And in iRobot, have you seen iRobot?
Yeah.
He's trying to cuss the whole time, and he's really bad at it. And Will Smith, he's like, "Stop cussing! You're not good at it," which I love. It also has Gavin Rosdale from Bush.
Yeah, I know.
As
That's
Balthazar.
an interesting casting choice.
I agree. Tilda
I think he actually does a pretty good job.
He does do a good job.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't act more.
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton as Gabriel. They wanted someone that was
Androgynous,
right? Just like her role in the 2018 Suspiria. In that one, she plays 3 characters. One of them is an old man, and you don't even know till the credits happen because I couldn't tell it was her at all.
I see. Yeah.
And then Peter Stormare as Satan. It had a budget somewhere between 70 million and 100 million, depending on who you ask, and it made 230.9 million in the box office. So it made his money's worth. And there's now plans to make a part 2.
Oh, interesting.
After all these years. Well, he was on a talk show, and it was Stephen Colbert, I think, that asked him if you could remake any movie or if you could make a sequel to any character you ever did, who would you do? And he goes, it doesn't work that way. He goes, you're Keanu Reeves. You're John Wick. You can do anything you want. He goes, you say that, but I've tried, and no one will make a sequel. So what movie is it? He goes, I don't want to say. He goes, know that when you say it, someone's going to want to make it. He goes, it's Constantine. I tried to make it for years. They said, no, I can't make it. And then like a year after that interview, like they came out, plans are being made for Constantine Part 2, which I think is awesome. All right, so the movie opens with a quote about the Spear of Destiny.
Oh, before we start talking about that, I want to discuss. Do you know anything about the comic book Constantine?
I know. I mean, I might have read like one graphic novel that he's in, but I guess most of my experience is from his appearances in the DC TV universe, where he's more like the comic books.
So I was gonna say, I don't think this has. So the only time I've ever been like exposed, anytime I've been exposed to Constantine as like the comic book character was actually in Sandman. He's like popped up in the Sandman series. So I don't know that much about Constantine. I do know that he's blind, and I wonder if the casting of Keanu Reeves was like controversial.
Yeah, a lot of fans were like, "This is not my Constantine."
Yeah, and I don't think this probably has much to do with the comic book.
Right. I would say the director put in a lot of references to the tools he used
Okay.
But the character himself, a lot of the reviews I saw right off the bat, at least at the time, articles I read were like, this is not Constantine. The only thing it has in common with Constantine is the name of the character.
Yeah, yeah. Or like the concept, kind of.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
But I still like it. Now,
I like it a lot.
Now, the Constantine TV show and his appearances in Green Arrow.
Like the DC TV universe.
Yeah, and Legends of Tomorrow is amazing.
Okay.
He stuck around for about 3 years, maybe a little longer. And before that, he had his own TV show for a season. That was fun. That was more towards the character. And he's this funny guy that's dark and brooding. Yeah. And I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
But I still love this movie.
Yeah, I also love this movie a lot. I've seen it many, many times.
The movie opens in Mexico, and we see two men digging under an old church. One finds a Nazi flag that is wrapped around the Spear of Destiny. Interesting thing in the commentary, they say that they burned the flag right afterwards so that no one would get their hands on it and use it, I guess.
Oh, funny.
Which is weird.
So, did you think how did this Nazi artifact end up in Mexico?
Yeah, so it was originally supposed to be found overseas somewhere.
Okay.
But they didn't have the budget for it, so they just had to make it be found in Mexico.
I mean, why didn't they just make it a soundstage thing? You know what I mean? Like, why? Yeah. It's so funny. I'm like, Mexico? I don't think the Nazis were in Mexico. That's pretty far away.
Interesting. Maybe Indiana Jones dropped it off.
Yeah, maybe somebody, one of the Nazis traveled to Mexico on vacay. They're like, all right.
They went there for hiding.
After
the fact, as a war criminal, right? So they wouldn't become a war criminal.
I guess.
Imprisoned. All right, so these two men are finding it. The one guy pulls it out. He doesn't say a word. His friend's confused where he's going. And then out of nowhere, this car comes and just crushes him, we think. Yeah. But then you see that the car has been divided in two, and there's an indent pretty far in the car where he was, and he just gets up and just keeps walking, like he wasn't fazed at all.
Right. So this car comes, they're in the middle of nowhere, and this car comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
To me, I'll see if you interpreted this. I got that Manon was like controlled the car, right? To possess his body. Like he had to be killed to possess his body.
Oh, maybe.
Do you think so?
That's possible.
But, or maybe they're just showing that he's indestructible now.
I think that's what they were going for, but that is an interpretation. Sure. Like to control him further.
I don't know.
He needed to be dead. I don't know.
Interesting. But I guess nobody else was dead when there's demons possessing them. So
right.
I don't know.
So now we're in New York, and we see that this little girl's possessed, and they've called in Father Hennessy, who is one of John's friends, and he calls John in. John arrives. Chaz drops him off in his cab. He gets in. He goes into the room. He sees this little girl. He puts down a cigarette on a table, and they have this shot where it shows the cigarette super in focus and John super in focus. To do this, they couldn't get a right lens that could focus that far, so they built a cigarette the size of a cigar and made it look like a smaller cigarette so they could get it in angle. I thought that was pretty funny. But then John uses this keychain of religious symbols and he pulls the curtain off the window and he shines the light through all these religious symbols until he sees one that affects the demon.
Yeah.
And he uses that to try to figure out what's going on with this girl. The demon comes out trying to fight John. It's a little intense. And he tells them that he needs to bring a mirror. At least it needs to be at least 3 feet wide. So he tells them to rush. So the residents of the building go. They grab this mirror. When he sees how big it is, he yells down at Chaz in the car, who's like, I'm Chaz Kramer. I'm a badass. I'm Chaz Kramer. And it's just funny him like rehearsing, trying to pretend to be amazing.
Constantine had, when he like started trying to exorcise the demon, he had said, this is Constantine, John Constantine, or something like that. Like, oh, he said, I'm John Constantine, asshole. And then you hear Chaz doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm Chaz Kramer, asshole, in the car to nobody.
Right, exactly. So John tells him to move the car, and he's like, why? He's like, just move the damn car. So he backs it up like 3 feet, but not enough.
Yeah.
And so John puts this mirror above where the window is. They move the bed under the mirror. They use a pulley system he sets up. And then he tricks the demon into coming out and attacking him. But he moves out of the way and the demon falls into the mirror. He's telling all the people that are helping him, all the tenants of the building, to not look. Mm-hmm. This one man can't not look. He opens his eyes and he ages like 20 years in like 1 second. His hair goes gray. His skin gets wrinkler.
I didn't get that he aged. I thought just his hair went white because he was scared.
Oh, maybe he did that.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought he aged.
That's really funny. I got to rewatch that and see. Like, did I miss that every single time?
I don't know. Maybe I interpreted it differently.
I don't know.
I thought he got older, but maybe his hair just went white. Okay. That's possible.
This is like a Rashomon of you and Maya watching a Constantine.
Whatever. We interpret it however it works. They get the demon trapped in the mirror, and he's trying to bust its way back out. John pulls the pulley system he set up, but the mirror is just a little too wide to go out the window.
Yeah, maybe you should have tested that before, but
Well, there wasn't much time, I guess.
Yeah.
And so they have to keep pulling it, break the wall, sort of. The mirror flies out as the demon is trying to break out, and it shatters on top of the hood of Chaz's cab.
Yeah. Which is why he asked him to move the car.
Which is why he asked him to move the car. Oh, man.
And then Chaz is annoyed, but he's like, I told you to move the car. He's like, you didn't tell me why.
Right before that, though, Constantine and Hennessy have a conversation downstairs. And he tells him that this one was different. He needs to be careful. He takes his protection necklace off and puts it in his pocket.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want him to go investigate. He just wants him to look into it and then call John if he finds anything. Because he thinks it's too dangerous for Hennessy to go out and battle these things. And while he's having this conversation, we see Balthazar for the first time.
Before we move on too far, I want to say that lit cigarette on the side of the table really gave me anxiety the whole time. Yeah. I'm like, is this gonna? The first time I saw it, I mean, now I know it was. I was like, is that gonna fall
and burn down the building?
Burn down the building? Or is he gonna leave it there, and the whole building's gonna go up in flames?
That's pretty.
Because they made such a big deal about putting the cigarette, but it's just to show that Constantine's obsessed with smoking his cigarette.
This is true. It becomes a big deal.
Yeah.
All right. So they get to the bowling alley, and Chaz is complaining that John never shows him anything, and all he's ever allowed to do is drive. He believes he can be more useful. We find out that John lives above this bowling alley, and he has this really long apartment. It's dark, but it has a lot of windows, and he hits the switch that opens them all at the same time, which is pretty neat. Mm-hmm. And then we cut to Angela in confession, and she's talking about how she shot a guy again. And we get this voiceover that tells us that she doesn't understand how she always knows where people are hiding. She always knows who the bad people are. She always knows when to hide and where to aim. And she has a much higher kill record than most police officers who never have to draw their gun. Because she's always knows where the worst of the bad guys are at. And the father tells her that God has a plan and that she has to have faith and it must not be overshadowed by her guilt. We see her trying to sleep in bed, and we hear the name Isabel called, and she wakes up in a hospital gown, in a bed. She leaves this room, which is 427. She runs to the roof. She drops her jewelry off the side of the building, and then proceeds.
Well, it's her hospital bracelet.
No, she does it next. Because she's got like
jewelry?
A necklace or something, because it hits the glass where she's about to fall, and then she takes off the hospital bracelet and lets it blows in the wind.
What? I do not remember this. Oh, okay, that's funny.
Do you need to pause and go watch the scene?
I guess I do need to rewatch this movie that I've seen multiple times. Well, this is a trend for me.
Yeah, you're good.
But anyway, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm almost writing down the smallest details. I think it's just to show us that she's about to fall in this glass.
Okay.
Then she takes off the bracelet, turns back, looks where the camera is, and lets go of her bracelet, and it falls out in the wind. We hear Isabel whisper it again. Then she dives off backwards and falls through this pane glass window into a pool, which we eventually learn is in the shape of a cross. And then Angela wakes up having had this vision of her sister killing herself.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this hospital that has a pool in there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is this like a rehab pool?
That's what I was thinking. It's for a rehab. That is exactly what I was thinking.
This pool comes back later. I'm like, what? Where is this pool? What is this pool?
We have a scene where John is throwing up blood in his apartment sink.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign. Then we see him at the same hospital, and we find out that he has late-stage cancer, and that the doctor says that she's helped him before, but back then he didn't want to be here, and now it's too late, and there's nothing he can do. He lights a cigarette, and she's like, yeah, that's a good idea. The doctor tells him to make arrangements, and he says there's no need because he knows exactly where he's going. The next morning, Angela is visiting the crime scene where her sister committed suicide. I guess it's the same day John was there. And another officer tries to tell her that she doesn't need to go in. She doesn't have to see her sister, put herself through that. Angela goes in anyway, and she believes that Isabel wouldn't have killed herself.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, they're twins, so they're both played by Rachel Weisz. So Isabel and Angela are both played by her because they're identical twins.
Right. In the first viewing of the movie, I was definitely confused.
Yeah.
I was like, why is she dreaming about killing herself?
Yeah.
And then
she wakes up.
They clear it up.
Yeah. It's her sister.
On the way out, she sees the elevator closing. She's like, hold the door. I'm going down. And John's inside. And he's like, not if I can help it. And just lets the door close. Like, what a jerk. Mm-hmm. We see the guy that's holding the Spear of Destiny grab onto barbed wire and just throw himself over the fence.
Yeah, he whoops
and
over.
Barbed wire doesn't hurt him at all. Back at John's apartment, he puts on a record, Paul Desmond's Take 5. I love this song.
Very good song.
When John's friend...
Sing it, Burton. Sing it. I'm just kidding. Don't
sing it.
That.
You gotta do the drums.
Wait, when is the time limit before we have to pay
5/4.
royalties? No.
Oh. I think it's 15 seconds.
I think you're safe because I don't think anyone would recognize this song.
Well, first of all, rude. Second of all, that is my interpretation of the song, which is different than playing the actual clip.
Gotcha.
All right, so Beeman shows up, who is his weapons dealer, who later we find out actually lives in the bowling alley as well, but behind it, where the pin setters are, I couldn't imagine sleeping through pin setters.
Maybe he doesn't live there. Maybe it's just his office.
Maybe. Okay. I don't know. But he shows up with a bunch of weapons. He brings him bullet shavings from an assassination attempt on the Pope, holy water ampules from the River Jordan, which are actually made from Christmas ornaments, like in real life, the behind the scenes. They just use this clear Christmas ornaments you could decorate. They just put holy water or water in it and drew a cross on it. They got a screech beetle from the Amityville Horror. Or from the Amityville house. John shakes it and laughs, and Beeman tells him that while that might be funny, it's like nails on a chalkboard to the fallen. And then John
makes like a sound.
Yeah. And then John asks him why he's into bugs, and he says he just likes them.
Foreshadowing.
Oh yeah. John grabs one of the weapons, and Beeman tells him to be careful because that's dragon breath. And John's excited because he thought you couldn't get it anymore. He points it in his own apartment, I guess, down the hallway, lets the flame go out. I guess he's not worried anything's gonna burn.
Yeah.
And then Beeman's happy. He's like, I know a guy that knows a guy.
Yeah, it's always a good idea to use a flamethrower in your own apartment.
Yeah,
you know?
It's insane, right? Beeman asks him about the case, and John tells him that he just pulled a soldier demon out of a girl who was trying to use her to get through. He says he knows how to sound, and Beeman says that can't be correct because we are finger puppets to them, John, not doorways. They can use our bodies, but they can't use them to come through. John asks Beeman to check the scrolls anyway to see if he could find anything. We see Beeman drop what the director in the commentary says is a piece of shroud from Moses, which we see him use in a later scene with Angela.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't ever explain. I think there's a lot of in this movie that they don't outright explain, which I like. It's kind of like a world building thing.
Yeah,
like they just do things without explaining exactly what's happening, which I think is cool.
John asks Beeman if he has any before he can finish his sentence. Beeman pulls out a bottle of cough suppressant. He's like on the house. So
I don't know what cough suppressant is going to help you with lung cancer, but.
Well, he's coughing up blood for a reason.
I know, but if you're coughing up blood, I don't think like dextromethorphan or whatever over the counter cough syrup is going to help you.
It'll stop you from coughing, but then you're not getting the blood out of your body.
Maybe I don't know.
I think maybe your body's like, hey, get this blood out.
Yeah.
Now it's a scene where it's raining down hard. Chaz driving the cab pulls up. Chaz is like, hey, when are you going to stop trying to treat me like a slave, John? And John's like, you're not a slave. You're a very appreciative apprentice. Like Tonto or Robin, or that skinny fellow with the fat friend.
I don't know who he's referencing. Was it Jake
and the Fat Man?
I have no idea.
That's the only thing I
don't even know who that is. So
that's a detective show in the 70s.
Oh, could be then.
It could be, yeah. Chaz asks why he doesn't learn anything besides driving then, and John just gets out of the car ignoring him. And Chaz yells, I love her little talks.
Yeah, does John not have a car, or does he just not know how to drive? Because he always has somebody else driving him.
I don't know. He just like tricks people into driving him because
he never drives
on his own in this movie.
He must not have a car.
Yeah, he can't make money doing what he does.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, well, they hit later that he sells religious artifacts.
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's right.
So it's like Indiana Jones in that way.
Yeah.
Although he had a real job, he was a professor.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Inside the library of this church, we focus on a picture of Jesus on the cross being stabbed with a spear of destiny. A man comes up and asks if I could have your coat, Mr. Constantine, which tells us that John's been there a lot. Tells him that he's not staying long. And then the man says, how about you, ma'am? And then the camera moves to reveal that Angela's standing right behind him. She says she really needs to speak to him. And John says, first come, first serve. And she says, you must be rude no matter where you are. But he was there first. Like, he should be first in line. I mean, maybe his delivery is a little rude.
I know, but the way to say it, that's not the way you say it.
We see that she runs to the father to have a conversation, and he runs to a different person, and who we find out is Gabriel.
Yeah. Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton. We find out that she knows what he wants already. Angela's telling the father that she wants a Catholic funeral, but the father says that it's a sin because, she committed suicide and therefore she can't have a Catholic burial. And while John is having a conversation about Gabriel, asking for an extension because of all the soul trafficking that's been happening. She tells him that he can't buy his way to heaven, and John believes that all the minions he sent back should guarantee his entry. And Gabriel tells him that she told him many times before that God only wants self-sacrifice and belief. And John says that he does believe, but she says, no, you've seen, and that is different. And I think that's not fair because he was born with the ability to see.
Well, yeah, I guess he doesn't. He's very jaded about God, though. Yeah, I think that's probably what she means. Because she's like, but you don't believe.
Yeah,
that's how I interpreted it. I don't know, but you're right. If you know, how are you not supposed to know? Right?
Exactly.
But also, she's saying you're just doing all this stuff to get into heaven. You're not doing it just to be a good person.
Right. Exactly. And that's the point of this conversation.
Yeah.
It also does set up the idea of self-sacrifice.
Right.
Which comes up later.
Yeah.
Outside, John.
Oh, I did think that something that we didn't really touch on yet is that Angela, the police detective, she is convinced her sister did not kill herself because she said she's a devout Catholic. She would never ever kill herself because she knows it's a mortal sin.
Yeah.
Even though you see her very clearly committing suicide.
Yeah.
So she's like fully convinced, and that's why she's arguing with the priest.
And the officer, her officer detective friend, I didn't catch his name, tells her that we have camera footage.
Right.
So in a little bit later, she's watching the footage, and one time through only, Isabel says the word Constantine, which leads her to go look for Constantine. John, in the conversation with Gabriel, says that he thinks God has a personal vendetta against him, that he was $5 short in the collections plate, or he didn't pray enough. And she tells him that, no, you smoked 30 cigarettes a day since you were 15. She says you're going to hell for the life you took, which we later find out is his own. And Gabriel ends it with saying you're fucked.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, what the crap?
Yeah, I think she says you're gonna die early because you've been smoking smoking so much since you were 15, and you're going to go to hell because of the life you took. I think it's like the way she put it. Yeah. And at that point, you think he might have killed somebody.
Right.
But
you don't know it. Yeah, until later that's himself.
Yeah, that he tried to commit suicide. Well, I guess he succeeded, sort of.
So outside, Angela's standing there upset. John is talking to God about his sense of humor because it's raining like crazy, and he walks off without getting in the cab, and Chaz is trying to call him like, but John, it's raining. Then we see Hennessy using his gift over a bunch of newspaper articles. They're all talking to him. He's hearing all these like little clips from different crimes and people's thoughts. And then he overs one and he hears the name Isabel. And then he grabs the article, which is titled Suicide in the Psych Ward. And what I like is that the actual article is about the case, whereas a lot of movies will just throw random gibberish up there.
Oh, funny.
They'll just copy edit something.
Oh, so if you
not related.
If you zoom in, it's actually about it?
It's actually about the suicide that happened in the psych ward. Which I thought was good because a lot of times, especially in the 80s, before DVDs, and people being able to zoom in and stuff, they just didn't care. They just put whatever article words up there. That makes
sense.
Which I thought was cool.
So this is going to come up later, but Hennessy, the priest, he is shown drinking in the beginning. A lot, yeah, he's always drinking from his flask. So you get that he's an alcoholic, and he says it's so he can sleep. So I guess even though he's wearing his like protective medallion, he still hears voices or whatever, I guess. I don't know.
And John took off that protective medallion from him.
Right, so that he can use his psychic abilities to help out.
So we get this scene that we talked about a little bit ago where Angela is watching her sister commit suicide, and she hears that name Constantine. Right after that, the phone rings. She tries to pick it up, but no one's there. Then the phone next to her rings. And then all throughout the office she's in, every phone starts ringing in turn, which is supposed to send her a message, I guess.
Yeah.
Then we have the scene where John is walking outside of a gas station. He just bought more cough suppressant. He's drinking straight from the bottle.
I feel like you're going to get side effects from drinking so much cough suppressant.
Yeah, there's limits.
Well, I never understood the part of the phones, by the way. Like all the phones ringing. Like who is making the phones ring? Or is that just her imagining the phones ringing? Because if she answers it, no one's on there.
Yeah, I mean, I would...
Like just getting her attention? I don't know.
Loosely trying to guess. It's like, hey, pay attention to that word constant you just said.
Yeah, I guess.
But I would think more that it would distract you from the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But... as John's drinking from the bottle, we see a man walking in the distance, and then a crow flies from that area where that man's at, right past John, up to a sign that says, "You're running out of time," and then the camera pans to buy a new Chevy. It's so stupid. Then John's coughing gets so bad, he gets down to his knees, and a rat walks past him, and then we see a crab walk over his hand, and I guess this has secluded John. He knows what's coming. This guy shows up. He asks if he has a light. He pulls out the screech beetle, and the guy hits him. The box flies, which the screech, being like nails on a chalkboard, makes the guy fly out. And we have this fight scene.
Yeah, he's like made up of like a lot of bugs and animals and stuff. Yeah.
They try to do it practically at first. There's like in the DVD.
Practically? How?
I know. It was horrible. I mean, they had a guy in like a suit that they had some stuff on. They tried to make it, but it just didn't work at all. So then they had to, do CGI on top of it. But I think it helped Keanu Reeves do the scene.
Okay.
Because he had someone to battle against.
Yeah. I think this effect wasn't too bad. So this, I don't remember what year this was made.
2005.
2005. So the CGI isn't like amazing, but the lighting, this was at night, so it was like not as, this effect wasn't so bad.
And the camera's flying around in a fight.
Yeah,
so it's not like you focus on anything too long.
Yeah, some of the CGI in this movie is like, that's early 2000s CGI.
Yeah.
But this one's not too bad.
Yeah, in the behind the scenes, there's an extended version of this scene. And they don't finish the effects for the shots they didn't use. And the CGI looks a lot worse.
Oh, I'm sure. Is funny. Yeah.
But then John gets him to go into the road with him and tricks him into getting hit by a car. And bugs fly everywhere. He's shattered into a million pieces. And John spends some time just like crushing every bug. Yeah. Which is awesome. Chaz is driving John to Papa Midnight's, and Chaz is super excited. He gets out, and we get exposition, but it's Chaz telling him, like, Papa Midnight, he's a true hero, a legend. There's all these stories about Papa Midnight. Chaz has read them all, so he's really excited. He asks John if he can get him in that bar. And he goes, sure, you can get in if you can get in. This bouncer guy wearing, like, leather straps holds up a card, and John's supposed to guess what's on the other side of it, and he says, 2 ducks in a cloud. He turns it is 2 ducks in a cloud, and then Chaz goes, 2 ducks in a cloud. And it's like a rat in a dress.
Yeah, it's a rat in a dress.
And he's like, and then Chaz tries to like gun it to run it in. The guy just sticks his hand and stops. He goes, just testing you, man. Just testing you. And Chaz doesn't get in.
Yeah, I think something that the movie didn't really do that well is really develop the relationship between John and Chaz. Because it kind of seems like an afterthought. There's a lot more of John and Angela, but not so much John and Chaz. And then, like, huge spoiler, but this is spoiling, so who cares, is that when Chaz dies at the end, I'm kind of like, okay, whatever.
So I'll cover it a little later towards the end.
Yeah.
But there's a character named Ellie who has a great relationship with throughout this whole movie. And every scene except for 3 seconds was cut.
Yeah. So I know that because I have watched the, like, deleted scene.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, there's also like an ending deleted scene with Chaz. Yeah, every time I watch it, I notice at the very end, there's like they do like a close up on her at the very end, and you're like, why? And she's kind of like a known-ish actress,
right. Michelle Monaghan.
Yeah.
Right,
so
who was
like
in the Craft Legacy.
Oh
and
yeah,
the
that's
Mission
right.
Impossible movies.
That's right. So, yeah, it's interesting that it's like, okay, why is she just like an extra in this scene, but she's not.
Okay, well, let's talk about it now then. So
okay.
This would have been her second scene right here.
Right.
But her first scene, John is getting out of bed after they had sex, and you see that she has a tail in the bed that's moving, and that lets her know she's a demon. And she's talking about how he's damned, and Lucifer would be excited to come get him, which is a Papa Midnight line later.
Yeah.
In this scene, they have a similar conversation where she walks with him all the way from the entrance to the bar all the way to Papa Midnight's door, and they just recut it so she's not in every angle, or she's not in any angles, and they just clip her out of the whole scene, which is insane.
Yeah, she's clipped out of the whole movie.
Right. And then I'll talk about more of her scenes.
Okay.
When we get there.
Okay. Yeah. I guess they figured it's too many people.
Well, from what I heard, they wanted John to seem more of a loner and not have many connections.
Okay.
And so while that was a great character, they wanted him to feel like a loner. Like I said.
Yeah.
The director felt bad for the actress, but then she's really made a name for herself anyway.
Yeah.
And
okay.
So he doesn't feel bad anymore.
Okay,
he's like, she's done well.
Yeah.
So that's good. Passive by a perfect circle plays while he's walking.
Yeah, I know. I noticed.
Inside Midnight's, he can tell that John is sick, and he asks if it's payback because he sells fake relics. And he goes, dude, I thought that was legit. Okay? Like he won't get over an old thing that he did. But then he finds out that he's really sick. So this is where Papa Midnight says the line, you're the one soul that Lucifer would come up himself to collect.
Right.
John explains that a full-fledged demon attacked John on their plane, and Midnight believes this isn't possible. He's trying to get a Midnight to let him use some chair, which we will see later. And Midnight tells him that he doesn't take sides. In this scene, this is where Balthazar shows up, and he's rolling that coin, so we know that she was in the beginning. It's a neat trick.
Wow. Yeah, can you do that? I cannot do it.
Yeah. I think you'd have better luck with a bigger coin.
Yeah, he does have a kind of a large coin. It's bigger than a quarter.
Yeah. Midnight's meeting with this demon, Balthazar, who John refers to as a half-breed. John wants to fight him right then, and Midnight gets mad, telling him that in my house, there's no fighting. You can't take sides. John walks out. He's obviously sick, and Balthazar makes fun of him for it, I think.
I don't remember, yeah.
I'm trying to remember, yeah. At home, John is drinking and smoking when a spider walks by, and he traps him under this glass, and this is where Angela knocks on the door.
Yeah, he traps it under the glass, and he blows cigarette smoke under the glass.
Yeah, and he's like, welcome to my life.
Yeah, I'm like, geez, poor spider.
Yeah, it's pretty mean. So she comes in.
Spoiler, the spider is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, the spider does not die from that. Right. They release the spider at the end.
Angela does.
If you're worried about that spider, which I was, don't worry. The spider gets released out of the glass.
That's awesome. So Angela fills him in on who her sister was, that she jumped off the roof, and that she believes that her sister would have committed suicide for the reasons we talked about. She was a devout Catholic. She knows, she's heard about him, that he works in the occult, demonology, and exorcisms, and she wants his help, and he's really rude to her in this scene. She explains, you know what's in hell, right? And he goes, yeah, your sister would be tormented and torn apart, ripped in different ways, cause pain. He's just an absolute jerk, and it pisses her off.
Yeah, he's like, doesn't care. He's not giving her any like sympathy.
Right, and when she says, can you at least point me in the right direction? That's all I want. He points her to the door.
Yeah.
Which is such a jerk move. So she lets the spider go.
Yeah.
And then she walks out. The moment she walks out, we see this entity fly by the window. Yeah. And John's like, oh crap.
It looks like wings or something. Yeah, flying.
And he runs out to meet her. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he's friendly with her. And like I would be like, so like what just happened? Like why are you friendly with me?
Yeah.
But then we get exposition here where we find out that he tells him that the God and the devil made a wager, and it was a standing bet for all the souls of mankind. They're not allowed to interfere, but they can only influence. And so they're on the earth influencing people one way or another.
Mm-hmm. And they have like the half-breeds, which seem to be the demons and the angels. Like Tilda Swinton or Gabriel and Balthazar, they can interact with humans.
We see the streetlights going out on both sides down the road. She thinks it's a power outage, but John points out to a statue of the Virgin Mary, which is still illuminated. He's like, I don't think so, because that's still on. We hear this flapping coming around. She doesn't know what that is, and he says that they're possibly wings. She pulls out her gun. I do like the fact that she doesn't just hold it up, because anybody walking by can get shot. She holds her gun down, which I think is a really good safety thing, which you don't often see with police officers in movies. So I wanted to give her credit for that. That was really good. He wraps the shroud around his hands that we talked about earlier. It's the shroud of Moses. He tells her to close her eyes, and she's like, why? He's like, suit yourself. He lights it on fire. This bright light comes and incinerates all these demons that were just flying to attack him. And he's like, no demons on our plane, huh? And then she smells all the sulfur. She asks what they were, and he tells him they were demons. He doesn't think they were after him. He thinks they were after her. He's now intrigued by the idea that Isabel wouldn't have committed suicide, and John wants to now make sure.
Yeah, because now that there's demons after her, he's like, oh, maybe there is something up with this.
Yeah. So we get this scene where he's in Angela's apartment. They put like a turkey-sized pan on the floor. Yeah. Fill it with tap water. John wants to use her cat because they're like halfway in and out of hell already. Angela jokes, if this is a ritual, would he need pentagrams and candles? And John's like, do you have any? And she's like, and then he tells her she has to leave. She wants to go to another room, and he tells her she has to leave the apartment. So the effect here I think is pretty cool. She's closing the door and time is slowing down. Yeah. And the moment that it closes, John is thrown into hell. Yeah. And
I want to point out that every time I watch this, I'm like, why is he wearing his shoes? But I was like, I guess because he doesn't want to walk around barefoot in hell. Right. But I'm like, you're getting your shoes all wet. You're going to be squashing in those wet socks.
You would think so, but I think all the water evaporated.
Oh, so he's dry.
Afterwards, his shoes are smoking like they're on fire still.
Okay, so he's dried off.
Yeah, I think the water is to make it like a lubricant, so he's not burned immediately when he gets there. And helps his. And by the time he gets back, when he pulls himself out, they're on fire. So if he'd stayed there any longer, besides the fact that the demons were going to hit him, I think his feet would have ignited.
Maybe. I don't know. I just think about the squish-squashing and the
I don't think they're squish-squashing afterwards.
I'm glad to hear that they're dry.
Yeah, they're dry. The hell is filmed really cool. Like it's this massive apocalypse looking landscape.
It's kind of looks like the city, but it's like all burned out, like apocalypse.
like Fallout.
Yeah.
Right. They film it in such a way he's walking and demons are everywhere. They sense him there. When he's in there, the thing he can accomplish, he does see Isabel. It reenacts the scene where she took her bracelet off. He runs after it as demons are coming after him. He jumps onto a car, jumps into the air to grab the bracelet.
The other thing is that she turned, Isabel sees him, turns to him and says, Constantine. It's the exact same scene that Angela saw, that she heard Constantine.
Right.
Yeah.
And where it ends. So
that was cool. Yeah.
So the bracelet, he jumps in the air, grabs the bracelet. At the same time, he grabs that grenade-looking holy water.
Yeah, he smashes it
on his chest, which brings him back. And in that moment, Angela in the real world hears the coughing. She opens the door the second she had closed it, and he's there smoking.
Yeah.
And he's got the tag, and he says that she did kill herself because she's in hell.
I thought how the depiction of hell was cool. The only thing I didn't really like was the depiction of the demons in hell. They all kind of just look the same. They look like kind of little skeleton monsters
with only half a head, like the top half's missing.
Like, and you see the demons in the real world, and they're all cool looking. You know, the animal monster thing, and then the thing that they were like flying towards them, all that. But then you see in hell, and they're just
they could be.
It could be like lower level demons, maybe.
Yes, they could just be all the damn souls because
you see the damn souls, and they're underneath. Remember?
Okay. Well, when we see Manon,
he looks like that.
He's got a full head.
Oh yeah,
and he's taller. He's upright, not hunched over.
That's true.
So I think that maybe it's just like lower class demons.
Yeah, and could be. That could be. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. Then we see Hennessy at the morgue looking over Isabel's body. When he touches her wrist, he recoils. He sees the little circle with like a plus or an X. I guess it depends on your angle that you're looking at it at, which is a symbol. Then he's so scared that he pulls out his flask and starts to drink. But as it should be pouring, nothing comes into his mouth.
Right.
So he freaks out. He runs out of the morgue. This guy tries to stop him, but he goes out. And then we see...
Well, when he drops the flask, it's like flowing out liquid.
Yes, exactly.
So when he's trying to pour it in his mouth, nothing's coming out. But then when he drops it, there's liquid coming out of it.
So he runs to a liquor store, and he opens a bottle and starts trying to do the same thing. We see the bubbles going into the bottle, so we know that liquid's coming out, but he can't see
or feel it. There's nothing going out.
And when he drops the bottle, it shatters, and liquid's pouring out.
Yeah.
We see Balthazar come in, and he's just enjoying the show. Pretty much in a minute, he drowns himself. He's starting to die. He knows he's dying. He can't do anything about it. He grabs a cork remover.
Like a corkscrew. Yeah, like a
starts
wine.
to carve into his own wrist the symbol of the circle with the plus sign.
Yikes.
Yeah, exactly. And then we see John and Angela eating while John is telling Angela about his childhood, that he could see demons and no one would believe him. So his parents did what all parents would do. They made it worse. They put him in a mental institution. I know you said you saw the deleted scenes. There's one where you see a demon watching as they're doing shock therapy. But that's cut out of the movie. But to try to get out of this, because he just thought he was crazy, he does try to kill himself. He was technically dead for 2 minutes, but since time is different in hell, he spent an eternity down there. And when he came back, he knows that he definitely doesn't want to go back. Yeah, which is crazy. He explains to Angela that since angels and demons cannot cross into their world, they get what is called half-breeds, which influence people. And during this speech, we see Balthazar again in the liquor store, and we have a shot of the employee for the liquor store holding Hennessy's dead body, and wings are coming out.
Yeah, they also have this effect when the demon's eyes will like glow red and the angel's eyes will glow blue.
They're not gold? I thought like
gold?
Some of them were gold.
But they were blue. Whatever, but they'll like all glow.
Yeah,
so you know that they're...
I also like that the wings weren't just your typical white, pure white wings.
Yeah.
They were kind of like black and gray, which were interesting. John calls this balance that he's talking about hypocritical bullshit because demons are killing people all the time. He tells her that anytime one of those half-breeds breaks the rules, he deports them back to hell. And while he doesn't get them all, he is hoping that it ensures his retirement. And he tells her that since he did kill himself, he is destined to go to hell, and he can't. He's trying to fight against this concept.
Not successfully.
She tells him that when you're young, that Isabel saw things, and then her phone rings and they're called to the scene of Hennessy's death. Her detective friend is already there and is explaining that the guy drowned himself in under a minute. And then we see John walks in, and that guy wants to know what he's doing there. And she says he's okay. John grabs a towel.
Yeah, he immediately starts meddling with the
crime scene. He grabs a napkin, wets it a little bit in like all the spilled alcohol, puts it on the hand, and gets
to get
the
impression
shape of the symbol.
He also takes the pendant out of his pocket too. Yeah. His protective pendant that he had put in his pocket. He takes it off. So that's cool. Just go up to a crime scene and take evidence off the body. No worries.
I apologize. It wasn't alcohol. He grabbed an ice cube that was on the ground and rubbed it on the hand to make it wet.
Oh yeah,
for the impression. We see back in the bowling alley that Beeman's in his office and John's calling him and telling him about the symbol, and he wants him to do some research to figure out what that symbol means. John asks to see where Isabel died, and Angela speaks on how...
If only this was when you can take pictures on your cell phone. He could just take a picture. So he has to describe it.
Yeah, this is
true. He has to describe the picture.
I don't know that Beeman had a cell phone.
That's true. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets it right. It's just a circle with a cross through it.
Perfect. Angela's talking about how Isabel used to tell anybody that would listen about all the things she would see. And then one day she stopped talking for a whole year, so they had her committed. John asked how long Isabel was committed, and she said this time she was only committed for 2 weeks, but they give the impression that her whole life
she's on and off. She's been committed.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. By the way, it's not that easy to commit people to an insane. Sure. You have to really prove that they're gonna either hurt somebody or hurt themselves.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's usually like 72 hours and they get released. So right. I don't know that they could have committed her that easily, but maybe because she's in law enforcement, it was easier. She's got connections. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah.
But if you don't want to be committed, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So John's looking all over the room for a hidden message, and she says that she's already looked in the room. They've looked for everything. And he tells her that there's got to be a message that only she would know about because they're twins. And she says, we haven't been that close for years. And he tells her that she needs to look. He kind of bullies her into it. He's really mean to her. She goes to the corner and cries. And then she realizes when she's standing next to the window that if she breathes on it, when they were kids, they left messages in glass. And she leaves a message, 17th Corinthians, which she says doesn't exist. They're in the car now, and John is talking to Beeman. He explains to Angela that in hell, Corinthians' Bible has 21 acts and paints a different view of Revelations, where God doesn't burn the earth, but the devil does. John says it doesn't matter because fire is fire, and Beeman's looking up the verse, and he says the sins of the Father will only be exceeded by the sins of the Son. And John tells Angela that they're referring to the devil's son, which is Mammon, and that symbol is the sign of Mammon. While Beeman's on the phone, bugs start appearing. He keeps getting distracted while John is trying to talk to him. Beeman says there's a loophole in which Mammon would have to possess a very powerful psychic, and Angela believes that's Isabel. And Beeman says it wouldn't be enough because he would need divine assistance to cross over. Mammon would need the help of God. And then you could tell Beeman knows something's coming after him because he tells John that even though John doesn't have faith, that all his friends have faith in him and that he needs to be strong. They hang up the phone and John asks Angela to drive really fast.
Yeah, see, Angela's driving again.
Yeah.
You can't drive.
Right, John doesn't drive in this movie.
Yeah, not at all.
And then they enter the bowling alley. Angela smells sulfur right away, and there are flies completely covering Beeman. It looks like they were in his mouth and nose, suffocating him.
Yeah, bugs killed him.
Unfortunate.
Even though he likes him.
Then we see the man transporting the Spear of Destiny come up to a man in a parked car. He breaks through the glass. We don't see what happens to the man, but now we see the car just driving. And now his trip is no longer on foot. He's got wheels, so it's going to be a lot faster.
Yeah. I don't know how he's going to cross the border, but whatever.
Was that not the barbed wire fence? I think that's what that was supposed to be.
Oh, okay. He's just leaping over the
rink-a-dink border.
I see. Okay.
That's what I thought.
That makes sense.
Back at John's apartment, Angela tells John that she used to see things with her sister, but at a certain point she claimed that she couldn't see them anymore, to her sister's dismay. His sister would be like, tell them what you see. And she would pretend like she didn't, and when she did, she just completely stopped seeing it.
Yeah.
And now she's asking John to help her see them again.
I get irritated by depictions of twins in movies. No, these are identical twins. So...
You look a lot like your sister.
We're not identical though. So I do have a twin, but we're not identical. But I'm just like, anytime in fiction, twins are just like have falling outs and they're identical twins, I call BS.
Yeah.
Because no, I first off, I'm not even identical, and I don't know what my sister could do that we would have a complete falling out and not talk to each other.
Sure.
But the other thing is, identical twins are almost act like the same person. Like, it's creepy. Like, they share the exact DNA. Like, they're the same person. So the fact that they would be like separated out and be like, that's fine. No.
Sure.
But whatever. It is what it is. And it happens all the time. in fiction, in books and movies, and it drives me up crazy.
Yeah.
But all right.
John fills up a bathtub with water. She hands over her holster and her gun, and she asks if she has to take off the rest of her clothes. He doesn't say anything, and she's like, John, he's like, I'm thinking. And he's like, no, you're fine.
Yeah, for some reason, she has her sleeveless shirt, and for some reason, it's unbuttoned. Like, it has like 3 buttons on the front, so like it shows her cleavage. I'm like, oh, come on, she's a detective. Why would she have those 3 buttons unbuttoned? Just look sexy, I guess.
I guess so. So we have this scene where he puts her underwater. She asks beforehand how long, and he says as long as it takes. So he's holding her under, and then she realizes that she needs to come up for air.
Yeah, she's wearing her shoes and socks again. This is gonna squish squash all over.
Because you need to.
All right, I'm just saying. Okay.
When she comes out, she's smoking. Although the water, there's still water.
She's soaking wet when she comes out. You gotta be soaking wet so you can see her bra. You know,
I didn't even notice, Margo.
Well, I did, and you gotta see her cleavage.
Oh, okay.
So I think those shoes are slippy.
They probably are. So he holds her under until she goes to hell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She doesn't know what he's about to do.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
That's kind of like a stressful scene because she just goes under the water, she holds her breath, and then she's like, well, nothing's happening. And she tries to like come out, and he holds her down under the water. So she's like drowning.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. And then when she comes back out, after time stops and he knows she went under somehow, he lets her up, and the whole tub. The tub explodes.
Or that's Constantine's tub. Poor Constantine.
Yeah, and she comes back, seeing what hell looks like, and now she knows that she could see again, and John lets her know that they can now see her too. She tells John here what she talked about earlier. She always knew how to find the bad guys, where to aim, where to duck. She always knew where they were hiding. She's always known it wasn't luck and that she could see. She just stopped admitting it to herself that it was like an ability. So then she runs back to where Beeman died, and she starts sensing an item. She's trying to look for it. She describes it. She reaches down and finds Balthazar's coin. Why would he have left it? Like he loves
just dropped
that coin.
it. I don't know. He has a lot of them. Who knows?
Maybe he has a lot of them. Maybe. John starts putting an arsenal from Beeman's things. And there's a funny moment where Angela picks up that bug that makes noise. And John just looks at her like, what are you doing?
Oh, no, it's when at the beginning when he's giving him his weapons or whatever, he has this like little toy that makes like a moo sound.
Oh, that's
right.
That's
what it is. It's like a moo.
Yeah. But it's just funny though.
Yeah.
John tests one of the weapons by shooting a big carton of cigarettes and zooms in on the Surgeon's General warning. They're trying to send this message.
Don't smoke.
Don't smoke.
Don't let this make smoking cool.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Don't be cool like Constantine and smoke so much.
And then, yes, Angela's driving again, this time to Balthazar's building. And she starts to talk, but stops when it looks like John is going to kiss her. But instead, he puts on Hennessy's necklace around her neck and tells her, think of it as a bulletproof vest. And she's supposed to stay in the car, but she's like, absolutely not, I'm going. He tells her to stay. He walks off without her, but she doesn't wait very long before following.
And immediately takes off the necklace.
And immediately.
Takes off
You're right.
Like she doesn't mean to, but I guess it's a long chain, and she takes her jacket off or something.
And gets caught?
Yeah, something, and it gets left.
Because, later she doesn't realize she's not wearing it.
Yeah, but I'm like, immediately.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they even bothered to put the necklace on her, because she takes it off so fast.
So Balthazar is looking at his face in a mirror when the reflection starts to distort. Bubbles form in the mirror before it explodes. Balthazar is laughing because he was like, I'm born of fire. What is this? Where John throws holy water on him and he's like, that's more like it. Balthazar lifts John in the air and we see that Angela has already gone in. Balthazar is choking John and John pulls out these brass knuckles with a cross on it. According to the director's commentary, these brass knuckles were made of gold that was blessed by a bishop during the Crusades.
Okay, sure.
But never covered in the movie.
No. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. There's a lot of these kind of little things that just they don't explain, and I'm fine with that. I think it's fun. It's like little world building details.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah.
John's able to beat him up enough. Balthazar's fine with going back to hell, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm sending you to heaven." He's like, "You can't do that. You're not ordained." And he's like, he starts reading him his last rites.
Yeah.
And he's like, hope you're going to enjoy this. I wish I was a fly on that wall when you half-breed demon are going to end up in heaven. And so it scares Balthazar enough that he tells them the plan that the Spear of Destiny has been found and that they're going to use that to get Manon to come up. And then so he tells Balthazar, you're an idiot. You have to ask for forgiveness to go to heaven. John fills Angela in on the Spear of Destiny, but she already knows it. She was raised Catholic. And then someone approaches Balthazar and he tells her that he did everything that she agreed. She should resurrect him. I'm saying she because I know who it is already.
Yeah.
And then a gust of wind comes and blows him away. And we see there's nothing left. And we presume he went back to hell.
Yeah.
John and Angela are still talking about Mamon's plan. Angela says that she needs to locate a powerful psychic, and John reveals that he thinks she's the powerful psychic, not Isabel. Then he asks her
well, they're twins, so both of them were powerful psychics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he asks where the amulet was, and she realizes she's not wearing it. She feels something strange where she's sucked through the elevator.
Yeah.
And he starts running after her, and they fly through offices, a bathroom, then more offices.
Yeah, there's walls are being smashed down, and he's leaping through the offices.
It's very Matrix-like.
Yeah.
And then she's blown out the window, and she's sucked into the air.
Yeah.
And it takes her a long time to get to her destination. A long time. I wanted to point that out. It's going to see her for a while.
Just flying around the city, just for funsies.
That's got to be what it is. She's flying in circles for a while until they need her.
Yeah.
Then John and Chaz arrive at midnight, and when the card pops up, he says bird on the ladder, and the bouncer tries to tell him he's wrong, but John just punches him in the face.
It is bird on the ladder.
And knocks him out.
They're just trying to not let him in. Yeah.
Right. And then John tells Chaz to wait here, and Chaz, being Chaz, goes to the bouncer and is like, who's the rat in a dress now, bitch? Which is so funny. John uses this big cross Gatling gun, the one that he used on Balthazar, to shoot through Papa Midnight's door. Papa Midnight thinks he's crazy. He tries to tell him that my friends are dying everywhere. They used to be your friends too. Mm-hmm. Midnight puts his fingers through his stomach. Yeah. And with some magic and lifts him in the air, and he's hurting his insides. When he finally convinces him to help him, he lets him down, and John's like, this is a $200 shirt, by the way, you've just ruined. Which I think is awesome. So he convinces him to let him go to use the chair. And we see this electric chair, and Midnight says that 200 people were executed it at Sing Sing. And on the back of the chair, I wanted to note, there's there's shelves of religious relics and stuff everywhere, but there's a whole shelf dedicated to those little monkeys with the little
clavers,
with the symbols, which I think is hilarious, which are used in Stephen King's short story The Monkey, as well as the Conjuring universe. It's a thing in there. Yeah. I think it's just hilarious that it's in there. And then Midnight asks him how long it's been since he surfed, meaning used the chair. Yeah. But I feel like this is also a reference to the 1991
you think it's,
Point Break.
That's funny.
I think it was a little dig at Keanu Reeves for that movie.
That would be funny.
And Midnight, before he does this, he says he wants to make sure that it's not about a girl. And John said it's definitely mostly not about the girl. John is barefoot this time.
I totally made a note of that, but it's because they're gonna use the water to electrocute him. I was like, wait a minute, now he's taking off his shoes? Wait, what's going on? So, I totally noticed that, and I'm like, oh, they're just because
so he breaks a light bulb and the light stays on, which is insane. That shouldn't happen, right?
They break somehow. They keep the filament active, but break the who knows? Whatever.
He uses it to electrocute him, and he goes into this vision quest that shows him every point of the journey of the Spear of Destiny that we've seen. Yeah. And it shows the guy now at the hospital pool, and the outside of that room is surrounded by half demons. And the man with the dagger senses John. He turns and starts to strangle him in the vision. He screams for Midnight, and Midnight pulls him out. And Chaz walks in, excited to meet Papa Midnight. Chaz is making bullets for this gun, and I love using the Internet Movie Firearms Database to learn all about the guns in all the movies we watch.
Okay, sure.
So this holy shotgun is constructed out of holy relics, firing gold-filled slugs encased in 12-gauge giant shells. It also has Dragon Breath Flamethrower, which is mounted beneath the barrel. It's based heavily on the Armel Striker, a variant of the Striker, and it's not built from one. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it talks about a lot of this. It has a spinning cylinder which holds 12 rounds under it, which is, I don't know, it's pretty neat.
It's a cool
awesome
looking gun.
I think John Wick bought it and gave it to the director. Oh, John Wick.
Oh,
Keanu Reeves bought it and gave it to the director afterwards. Midnight asks how he expects to get close enough to all those demons, and Chaz starts dropping all this book knowledge that he has. He says half-breeds are mostly vulnerable when their outer skin has been breached by holy water. Certain objects, most notably either the 2 crosses of Hysteria, have been used by even the unordained to bless the sanctity of any commonly occurring water, even rain. And they both just stare at Chaz because he knows what he's talking about while he's just making these shells. I love that. Midnight tells John, take him, just kill him later. And then they're outside, or right before they go outside, Papa Midnight hands Chaz the cross, and he starts praying over Chaz. Chaz is like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm praying. He goes to pray over John, and John just laughs at him.
Like walks away,
Walks away. But then he still prays where John was.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Now we see Angela flying through the air. She lands in the same pool where her sister died. That's why I think like so much time has passed. She was in the city.
Maybe it's not like linear, linear in time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Or they had her circling up there for a while.
Maybe she made a pit stop to go pee and then.
Angela stands up in the water and pulls her gun out, but there's nothing to shoot at.
What's a gun is submerged in water? Is it still good?
It wasn't very long, but the bullets would have to get wet, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. It can misfire. It totally could.
Whatever. What is she gonna do with that gun anyway? So.
I know, it doesn't work.
It doesn't do anything.
Right. So Chaz is driving to the hospital, and he's really trying to talk himself into the plan working, and John tells him that it's not always like the books. Then Angela senses the man behind her who is carrying the spear. She's holding a Smith & Wesson 3913, which is designed to carry 8 rounds.
Okay.
She fires 33 rounds into that man without reloading.
Wow, that's a magic gun.
It's a magic gun. She's got powers. Then he knocks the gun away from her. It's not like it ran out of bullets. He just knocked it away from her.
Yeah, well, it doesn't do anything, so.
Right. It's too funny. Chaz splits up. Chaz is armed with a 12-gauge shotgun to go bless the holy water. John goes in. Right before he goes on, he says one last show to himself. Kind of says out loud. Before entering the room of half-breeds, we see Chaz shoot the lid off the tank that holds the water, drops the cross in, starts blessing the water. And then John enters the room saying, hi, my name is John. You are in violation of the balance. Need to leave immediately or I will deport you. Then he stands on a chair, uses his lighter, sets the sprinklers off, tells him to go to hell. And then we zoom in on the half-breed played by Michelle Monaghan.
Yeah, like a zoom in.
And it says holy water, and then it starts screaming. And I always thought that was weird.
Yeah, it is weird until you find out that she's she was a character in the movie.
So her third scene was here, and they had this whole talk before John got on that chair. John needs to not worry about this. He's out of his element. He's outnumbered.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to work, which is a little crazy. And then her fourth scene is right after the fight happens. They find her cowering under a table, which protected her from the holy water that was falling on them. And John lets her leave and lets her live. But it's just crazy. I always thought it was focused. But it's interesting. In that original scene, she's wearing this little cute bow tie. And she's walking around talking to him. She's dressed super cute. But when they zoom in on her, they zoom in so far that you can't see the bow tie anymore. Because in the scene where she says holy water, in the uncut version of this deleted scene, you could still see the bow tie.
Oh, funny.
But I guess they were like, that would seem out of place.
Yeah.
So they just zoomed in so close to her face so you couldn't see the bow tie anymore,
I guess.
which is too funny. So now the big fight happens. There's more information about this gun. So despite the fact that the drum is supposed to hold 12 rounds, John Constantine only fires 8 before he drops the magazine and reloads again. Then he shoots 5, and then the 6th one clicks. So either it's an editing mistake or his bullets have bad primers, so that 6th one didn't fire.
I don't know.
But then, because he ran out of bullets or whatever, Chaz shows up and shoots that last demon with a shotgun, which is great. Inside the pool, the man is drowning Angela, and she winds up in hell surrounded by demons, and yet none of them are going to attack her. And then she hears her name as Manon is approaching her. John and Chaz make it into the room, and the man is just floating in water. John tries to flip him over, but he's dead. Chaz warns John that he turns around and sees Angela is possessed with Manon as she comes out of the water. John has the shotgun, but he's unable to bring himself to pull the trigger. John throws the shotgun into the water, grabs Angela, and starts performing an exorcism. Manon is fighting back and trying to drown John. Chaz pulls Manon, and then they both try to do an exorcism right here. And I would say, like, for horror, like, this is where the horror is, like the possession scene.
Yeah, that first scene too with the
little girl.
Yeah.
I think this pretty horrific. I know it's an action movie, but that is like the possession stuff.
And they're like trying to come out of their like bodies, which is pretty creepy.
It's filmed really well, I think.
Like it looks like coming out like hands from your stomach or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Angela's face looks like it's returned to normal, but then she starts to panic. You could see Mamon's trying to escape from her stomach. John tries to hold it in, and Chaz starts to do the exorcism again, and John joins in. It seems like Manon has calmed down a little bit, and when John compliments Chaz, it goes to Chaz's head right away, but then Chaz is pulled up, slammed into the ceiling, slammed into the ground again, slammed into the ceiling, and hits the ground dead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no!
I know. You know, the funny thing is, a lot of times in movies, that kind of stuff happens and they're somehow still alive.
Yes, that's true.
But yeah, that would definitely kill you.
Yeah, unfortunately. Then John uses these arm tattoos that he has that we haven't seen yet in the movie.
Yeah.
That form one big symbol.
You see that he has these like giant tattoos on his arms.
Yeah.
Like, but he doesn't, that's it. You just see them.
Yeah.
But now he's like bringing his arms together and they form like a symbol together.
Yeah, and he's like, reveal yourself.
Yeah.
And then what comes out is the angel Gabriel, who lands on him, standing on his chest so he can't move. Yeah. She's got all these cool bracelets on. I can only read a couple.
She's like a cool outfit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a straight jacket kind of looking, but it has like trailing laces.
She's got like 20 hospital bracelets on.
Yeah.
The only ones I could read were sorrow and passion, but I think they were all like supposed to be like things to motivate her for her cause.
Oh, interesting. I never even noticed that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I gotta watch this movie again.
You gotta pause it a lot.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
It's me pausing it a lot to see all these neat things, and then I read articles about them.
Yeah.
Which are fun. And then we reveal her plan. She wants to bring humility and pain and horror to the humans so they can rise above it, because he believed that they don't deserve God's mercy that he grants to everyone, that anyone in the world could just ask for forgiveness and they're taken up to heaven. Mm-hmm. And she thinks that's not right. So that's
she's gonna why. She does something like whenever there's like a horrible event, that's when humans are most noble. So she's gonna make their lives horrible, and so that they can deserve to go to heaven
by bringing hell on earth by Manon to reign. So she throws John into the other room where he just had the big fight in, and while she's preparing, John's speaking to God, saying that he knows he's not his favorite, he's not even allowed in his house, but he can use some little attention. He even says please before noticing all the broken glass, and he's like, fine. In the room, Gabriel's preparing to cut Manon out of the stomach.
Yeah, she's about to stab. Spear. She gets a real wind up. Right. Thankfully, she winds up her arm
really slow.
Because if she didn't bring her arm back so far, that would be done. So
right, John's able to have time to cut his wrist, bleed out.
I don't think you'd bleed out that fast, or maybe he's not dead yet. You know?
Maybe he's dying.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then time stops. Right before the Spear of Destiny releases Manon from Angela's stomach.
Yeah.
And then Satan enters the room.
Oh, wait. Something funny that I noticed is that he takes off his watch before he cuts his wrist. And they do a real close-up of the watch. I'm like, is that a product placement? I wrote it down. Oris automatic watch.
Oh, okay.
It's very clear. I'm like, were they showing the time stop?
That's what they were showing.
But I'm like, it really showed the watch. I'm like, I wonder if that was product placement.
It could have been.
I don't know.
It could have been. Satan appears. We were alluded to earlier that John is the only soul that Satan would actually bring himself to earth to collect.
Right.
Satan's excited. He's like, oh.
Yeah. I think the design on Satan was pretty cool. Like, he's wearing like a white suit, but then his feet are like in tar, like covered in tar. He's like dripping.
And
like
that was Peter Stormer's idea. They had this ridiculous fancy outfit they wanted him to wear. And he's like, no, I think I can pick better clothes than this. Oh, and so they let him have free reign on his outfit, and they approved it. They're like, okay, that looks good.
I mean, he's wearing a really nice white suit, but then, he's like barefoot, and he's like has like tar on his feet, and he's like dripping it. It's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, he's excited. John asked if he could smoke a cigarette, and Satan's like, oh, I got stock in that. Like, excited. And then Satan starts to think about the situation, and he says, I don't think you'd make the same mistake twice. And he thinks about it, and he goes, and this is where John starts asking about his family, and he's like, we're busy. And he tells him that your son's in the other room. And he goes, well, boys will be boys. And he tells him he's in there with Gabriel.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, there's no acquiring for taste. And he says they have the Spear of Destiny. Looks at John like, are you trying to trick me?
Yeah.
And he goes, look, you've waited 20 years what's 20 more seconds? So he
goes to investigate.
So he goes, the glass just explodes.
Yeah, this I think this effect was cool when I first saw it, and now,
It hasn't aged well.
It didn't really age well. Yeah, it's very, very clear that it's CGI. But
yeah.
Because there's like glass like frozen that he's like walk through.
Right.
But it does not really look realistic.
Satan enters, he grabs Angela, pulls her out of the way, and then he lets time resume a little bit. And the spear hits the ground, and Gabriel's like, Lucifer. She starts calling him all these old names, which he loves, most unclean one.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. He's holding Angela, and in the reflection of the ground where all the water is, we see that it's Manon, like flapping around.
Yeah, he's holding him. Yeah.
And then he sends him to hell, so we see in that reflection of the demon is shot out back into hell. Satan burns Gabriel's wings, and she's sent back into the pool.
No, before that, Gabriel says like, I don't know, she's gonna punch him.
Smite him in the name of God.
In the name of God, and she like goes to punch him, and her fist stops, and he's like, I don't
flinching.
think. Yeah, it's like I don't. What did he exactly say? But basically,
like
I don't
doesn't
think
have your back anymore.
I don't think God has your back anymore.
Yeah, so then she burned. Satan burns her wings.
Yeah.
And she's thrown back into the water, and the water starts boiling from the heat. Then the devil returns to John, and he wants to know if he wants an extension. John just tells him that he wants Isabel's soul. And the devil is like, you were willing to give up your life so that she can go to heaven? And he's like, yeah. And the devil's like, fine, that's fine. And he starts to grab John by the feet. He's pulling him, and then his body gets heavier, starts digging into the ground.
Yeah, he can't pull him anywhere.
The devil can't pull him. Then this heavenly light comes down. John starts lifting in the air, and Satan explains it to the audience. In case you weren't paying attention, it was the sacrifice, which Gabriel alluded to earlier in the movie. So John starts to go to heaven. Satan protests that John belongs to him, that he's his spirit, and this is where I think John makes the mistake. John turns around, flicks off Satan as he was going to heaven.
Yeah.
And so Satan, I think, is able to reach in, grab all the tar in his lungs.
Yeah, he like took the cancer out of his lungs. Yeah.
But I think if John hadn't flicked off Satan, he wouldn't have been able to do that.
I don't know, maybe. Well, you think because he was like an asshole?
Because he was being an asshole. I think God's like, okay, well, sure.
Maybe.
So the devil pulls all this stuff. He doesn't have cancer anymore.
I just got the impression that the devil just healed him so that he wouldn't die and thus wasn't going to heaven.
Yeah, I just wonder if he hadn't flicked him off, would the devil have been allowed to?
Or would he just not been pissed off enough to do it?
Maybe.
Who knows?
So he tells him he now has an extension.
But it was a funny part, though.
It was completely. He tells him now he has time to prove that he really belongs in hell.
Yeah.
So he has this extension. In the other room, Angela wakes up and John gets up. His suicide scars are gone and his chest is back to normal. Angela says thank you to John. Again, it looks like he's going in for a kiss, but he passes her to grab the dagger. The spear of destiny.
Yeah.
Rachel Weisz said that she believed many times they were about to film a kiss, but then decided if they filmed it, the studio would demand they use it in the movie, and that's not what they were going for in the movie, so they never got to kiss. I got the impression in that interview that she was hoping to.
Yeah, who wouldn't? To
Right?
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
Right, exactly. Gabriel then comes up. John has a chuckle at the fact that she's now human. Gabriel comes out with the shotgun saying, would you like to kill me, John? Get your revenge?
Yeah.
You know? And John just punches her in the face, and as he walks off, she's all happy, like, look, you've grown, John. You've chose a higher path, which I think is hilarious. And then we see John and Angela on the roof. He gives her a gift, which is the spear. She wants to know why. And he says that she needs to hide it where no one can find it, even him.
Right.
So if he were to ask later, don't give it back to him.
Yeah.
And there's another moment where he thinks they're about to kiss, but they don't.
Yeah.
Then he says he'll see her around. We get a voiceover saying that the God has a plan for everyone. He had to die twice to figure that out. And it looks like he's like packing in a new pack of cigarettes.
Yeah,
but then he just pulls out a stick of gum, which is like, thank God. And then we have the credits. But then after the credits, we have a scene where John is visiting Chaz. He puts his lighter on the grave because he doesn't need it anymore because he quit smoking. And as he walks away, we see that Chaz is now an angel on top of the grave, and he flies off and takes flight.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
The end.
The end. Well, before I read some trivia, did anything else you want to say about it?
No, I just said this is a very cool looking movie. And for me, that a lot. Like,
sure,
I'll watch a pretty crappy movie as long as it's really cool looking.
I had fun in it.
I don't think this is a crappy movie. I think it was pretty good. Similarly to another Keanu Reeves movie, John Wick, I feel like there's a lot of world building that they don't spell out for you, which I think is really, really cool. And it does make you think that they're going to do more movies, but no, they don't.
Well, they're going to now, though.
Maybe,
It's planned, hopefully 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The Spear of Destiny prop is the same one used in Hellboy 1 year before this.
Was it the Spear of Destiny in there too?
I just know it's the same prop. The character John Constantine was originally created by Alan Moore during the run of DC's Swamp Thing. However, following the negative experience from the movie From Hell with Johnny Depp and The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Moore decided to reject all money and credit from Hollywood on any adaptations of his work.
Yeah, he didn't want to be
associated with the movie. And so then he gave all the money he would have gotten to the artist who drew the character with him and rejected his own created by credit in the film, which is so crazy. The lighter Constantine uses during the movie was created by real lighter company Zippo, depicting Saint Benedict around the case. During the course of the film, John Constantine is seen smoking 13 cigarettes, I guess because 13 is an unlucky number. I don't know. Someone thought that was a big deal. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
But thanks for doing this one. This one's a lot of fun.
Yeah. A not scary movie again for me.
No, I know. It's not scary at all. All right. Everybody, if you'd like to follow us on social media, we are at Nightmare Echoes Pod on Instagram. And if you'd like to email us, we're at nightmareechoespod@gmail.com. And I want to see here that next week we will be covering The Devil's Backbone by Guillermo del Toro. Jesse will be co-hosting with that one. And the week after that, we'll be covering Shaun of the Dead with Steven. All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.